What advice would you like to leave for young Black brothers and sisters? Not the ones that are going to Howard. Let's speak to those who may not have college on the brain or mind. What do we say to them right now?
You need to leave behind, when you leave this earth, you want to leave behind, what will somebody say about you? Were you an advocate for change, or did you add to the problem?
Ghani family, and welcome to another episode of Ubiquity. I'm Camille Lord Wyatt.
Hi, I'm Ada Bobineau, and welcome to For the Love of Each Other.
What advice would you like to leave for young Black brothers and sisters?
You need to leave behind, when you leave this earth, you want to leave behind, what will somebody say about you? Were you an advocate for change, or did you add to the problem? So that's the decision they have to make as young people. And I tell young people this all the time. What do you want to leave behind when people think of you? Do you want them to say, I'm glad he gone or she's gone? Or do you want them to say this was their contribution to mankind? And so that's what they need to think about. What do you want that to be? And it could be anything you want it to be, because it's your choice. But I would hope and I would pray that you want something more positive as opposed to more negative. And while I don't necessarily grasp, because I haven't seen the statistics, and right now you can't depend on any statistics coming anywhere out of government, because Satan does the switch and bait all the time. The bait and switch is all a bunch of lies. It's bullshit wrapped up in a red bow. But the statistics in our community isn't saying that our children aren't going to college, because they understand that they have to have something more than that high school diploma. Now, I'm not saying that we're going at the levels that we might have went in the 60s and the 70s or even the 80s, but I would hope that our children understand that they have to have something more, and they have to avail themselves of the process. Is it perfect? No. But it's the only process we have here in America. And so you have to avail yourselves. And I'll say the last thing I want to say, and Muhammad, no, I'm going to say it. We did our job less than a year ago as African Americans, both men and female and women. In this current culture where the law doesn't apply, where there are no rules, okay? My advice to young advocates is to sit your black ass at home. You did your job. Let the ones that didn't do their job get out in them streets. We need to think more strategically. We need to get to the polls. We need to be advocating it by any venue possible, because you can't cheat on election machines if you got 10 million people going to it.
Okay.
It doesn't work like that. The algorithm won't cheat like that if you overflow it. So get your ass out the street and take your ass to the polls and overflow it, so we can mess up that algorithm. That is my advice to the young people.
That's right. Muhammad,
I'm gonna leave it at that.
But I still say that if you got enough money, you can cheat on those machines, and I think that's what happened. But
not
anyway.
because we didn't go. We didn't overflow it. We overflowed it with Barack, and that's why the algorithm didn't work. Again, take your black ass out that street with them signs, and take your black ass to the polls, because we need to disrupt the algorithm.
We need to disrupt the algorithm. Muhammad?
Hmm. Every young boy wants to be a man until it's time to be a man.
Ooh.
Every young girl wants to be a woman until it's time to be a woman. But the question is, where will they learn to be? Where will they learn manhood, or where will they learn womanhood? Our goal with Raw Law, our goal with everything that we did in the profession, everything that we're doing since the profession, the podcasting, the extra writings, etc., has been to make that point that our kids are raising themselves in a culture that is defining, naming, speaking for them, instead of them defining and naming and speaking for themselves, to go right to Kuji Chaglia. All right. Self-determination. We seem to have lost the concept. And if you don't give the kid, the generations to come, a sense of the ability to define, name, and speak for themselves, someone else will define, name, and speak for them. Always go to your history. Do not be afraid, and do not allow anyone to take your history away. I don't care what they do at these museums. If every time they take an exhibit out of a museum, somebody should be taking that museum exhibit to the street corner and telling their kids exactly what's going on. All right. Defining and naming and speaking, so that they can define, name, and speak for themselves. We have the tendency right now to accept, it's like we went backwards, to accept that because, this is not shade on Obama, because of Obama, we thought we arrived.
Thought we were good.
We thought we were going. We thought we were moving up.
Thought we were good.
We're making strides. There has never been, listen to me closely, there has never been a time in elections, especially in my lifetime, where white America has not voted 55% or more toward a white supremacist candidate. The candidates that win, that support causes that might benefit Black people, have had coalitions of Black, browns, this, that, the third, and some whites. It's always been coalition. So it's not like all Black people voted for this particular person and he won.
Right.
All right. So they had to have coalitions, but they had to have a message that brought people out, brought people to it, brought people in, sometimes to the street, etc. But I'll tell you something that's about to happen. That you see if how good I am at prognosticating. They are literally going to attempt to eliminate Black citizenship.
Woo!
I'm telling you how I'm reading the tea leaves. Birthright citizenship that the president rightfully said was granted to Black people by the 14th Amendment. All right. He said it was granted to descendants of Black slaves. And the goal is, and has always been, to make sure Black people never participated in the system. The 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments were passed on as a bully pulpit on the South. And the South has never given up on turning all three of those around. Ooh. You know, they literally almost eviscerated the 15th Amendment, right, by killing the Voting Rights Act. All right. Now they're after the 14th Amendment. You see them slowly chipping away at it. But when they get to the point of birthright citizen, they get rid of everybody else and they tell you can't be naturalized. They're going to say to Black people, can you prove that you are a descendant of a slave?
Ah!
Wow. That's what the argument is going to be as a matter of law. And what are you going to do when you can't produce? Remember the case that just came out?
We don't have it. We don't have it.
That's right. Well, the Creek case that just came out of the Supreme Court maybe about 3-4 weeks ago, where the Creeks had to go, Black Creeks had to go to the Supreme Court to get citizenship as a Creek. That was a test run to see if they could produce citizenship papers that demonstrate that they were actually citizens, slaves of the Creek Nation.
Wow.
Imagine you may have been a descendant of slave, but what if you can't prove it?
We can't prove it.
What if you can't prove it? Does that mean
that argument that you can't prove it is not valid because you can prove it.
Yeah,
so that argument to say that you can't prove it, don't, and that's the problem. We get too pessimistic. That's why we didn't go to the polls the last time. It's that pessimism that keeps infiltrating us. You can prove you are descendants of slaves.
But how can we prove it? How can we prove it? The point is, take it on the concept of, on the extreme. What if you can't prove it? How can you not prove it? Now, I'll tell you how you can't prove it. Because the people who are going to judge whether or not you are a descendant of slaves aren't going to accept it anyway. They're going to be the ones making the declaration. Can you imagine? I got to come before Donald Trump, and I got to say, here shows my grandpa. Here go my Aunt Bessie. Here go my Uncle Leon. Here go my Uncle Buena Vista. Here go my Uncle Umojo, right?
But it'll wipe away if the science, the DNA
absolutely
that has long been there for the last 100 years. If
absolutely.
They say that you can't prove it, and the DNA show that you are descended from an African slave, your people were brought over from the Benin tribe, then they're saying DNA is invalid, which wipes out every criminal conviction on the planet Earth. So you can prove it. That's the whole point.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if things can be proved now. It doesn't matter if things can be proved. They still go with like you said, the white supremacy wins.
They're going to say,
well, they're not going to win this one. They're not going to win.
I'm just telling you what the attack is going to be and how the methodology is going to be that they're going to try to do. They're going to try to eliminate any aspect of saying that you can prove that you are a descendant of slave in order to eliminate your citizenship or to make it hard for you. They're doing it right now with Latinos and naturalization. They're doing it with Haitians and naturalization. They're doing it right now. And as soon as they get to the point to where they're able to fine tune it, which is what the Heritage Foundation has been plotting since 1968.
Yeah, Heritage since 1950.
Look, and as soon as they get all them stacks and get all the people in the right place, which is why they're eliminating Black people from government jobs, because they want to fill them with white people who will say, oh, I just reviewed her paperwork and I don't agree. Stamp it. No, deport them. That kind of thing. That's the overarching goal, that you either become a second-class citizen as a matter of law, or that you become deportable and therefore potentially a slave again, at least a slave, even if they don't put you in chains, at least a slave to somebody else's thought process or somebody else's ability to define, name, or speak for you. That's what it is. So the generation that's coming next, and the children that we're talking to, we have to tell them to get ready, get armed, etc., to be able to establish their citizenship 10 toes down, standing firm and strong on who they are, what they stand for, etc., as opposed to who they entertain, who their favorite pop star is, who their favorite basketball player is. They begin to learn what their history is, who they are, because they're coming to attack every angle of it with the intent of getting rid of those 3 amendments that the South believes that they were forced to sign on to in order to join back into the Union.
And to bring it full circle, in order for that not to happen, Muhammad et al., in order for that not to happen, we have to tell the young folks to get out of the streets with the signs, because that means absolutely nothing, and to go to their polls, because you can disrupt the algorithm if you got 100 million people who are clicking that button as opposed to 5 people. And that's the difference. We need to flip the House and the Senate totally, overwhelmingly, not a close margin, but overwhelmingly. We need to remove out of all of the governorships. We've got to do it. And if we don't do that, if we don't get our younger people, and I don't care your race, I don't care your age, except for 18 and above where you can vote. That's the whole purpose of us doing expungement clinics, because these younger people got picked up on these marijuana charges before marijuana was legalized. So we need to get that off your record so you can go in there and vote. And you need to flip this stuff so that it doesn't even make it to Congress. So it doesn't even make it to the Heritage Foundation. Has no pull unless you flip it on its head. You take that Project 2025 and you flip it on its head, because if you put a different makeup in the House of Representatives and the Senate, all of this will blow up on them. And we got to keep our eyes focused on that.
There you go. That's right.
Sharon still has faith in this system. She still has faith in democracy. and faith in
well, I'm never going to give up faith because you fight with it. We weaponize it. We had those that were in the street. We had those that took up arms, but the ones that made the biggest change were the ones that was in the courtroom doing the arguing.
So that and this I love. I believe that we need more Black people in the justice system, in law, in
fighter Black people. There's all kind of Black people, but fighters.
Do you agree? Do you both agree?
You know what? Look, listen
it's beyond the race, though. It's beyond the race to me. It's the consciousness. You need conscious Black people that are willing to fight, that are willing to stand up, that are willing to do right. Because you have those that just fall in line, and you all seen it. You've worked in the justice system.
Sure. But Ada, how do you? But the level of consciousness that we have had access to, I don't know if it exists among these young people right now. I don't know.
But you can convince. You can, just like Sharon said. But you have to meet the people where they are, though.
Yeah.
You know, you can get an 18-year-old who all he wants to be is a basketball player to go in and cast a vote if you can convince him that he has power. So every 18-year-old who's in DC right now, while they're locking up DC with this thing and charging them with offenses, if all of them sign up for a jury, and they show up on jury day, they dismissing those cases. I'm telling you what they're gonna do. They're gonna look around, see all those Black faces in there, sign up for jury duty. They're gonna dismiss all those cases. I don't care what they charge with.
Wow.
Okay.
And if they on that jury, or they get on a jury, and they know that this was done by virtue of we're attacking a Black community, and you can convince them that this gives you power in your community, gives that power back that they tried to take from you on the street, they'll show up to that jury box.
There's the message right there.
They will show up in that jury box, and in that jury room, nobody can take your vote away. You become the president.
That's the point. That's what I'm trying to get at, Muhammad. We have to teach them from the ground, from the grassroots. We have to give them their power back. We do it through, like I said, I do it with one means, with this expungement, giving them their power back, relying on what Muhammad put out there in raw law to give them their power back so they have a better understanding of the power they actually possess. And that's what we have to do. We have to give them the knowledge that they have this power. They show up in DC courts, the federal district court. Trust and believe, all those cases are going to be thrown out.
They're going to be gone. They don't want to see They don't want to see no black juries. Look, oh gosh, that's the most frightening thing in the world. You know what just happened this week?
What?
You saw they were getting ready to do a grand jury indictment or grand jury investigation in DC on who was it? Whatever it was, but they transferred it to Florida because they didn't want to have to face a potential black grand jury in DC.
Wow.
So they transferred it to Florida. Now you can't do that with a criminal offense. All right, just say, okay, I locked you up in DC, but I'm gonna send you to Virginia. No, unless they can establish, some kind of conflict. You can't do that. All right.
So throughout your career,
face black people when you come up there. Black people get up, or young people get up and say, "Oh, okay, you want to come to our town and do this? I'm coming to jury duty, and I'm gonna straighten this out."
Yes.
Something as small as that,
wow,
can completely flip how the world is seen.
So throughout your careers, when you were facing juries, because you were both in the DC areas, was it not predominantly black juries during the was it mainly white juries? Or?
We, as part of the federal system, we hate it, and I can't say that word strong enough. We hate it when one of our cases was in California, and the plaintiffs asked for it to be transferred to the District of Columbia. Because we knew 90% of the time we were going to lose in the District of Columbia. Based on exactly what Muhammad said. We represented the man that was trying to do something to the black community, and they weren't going to have it.
Okay.
So when the feds came in, even though I was a Fed, and I'm African American, they wasn't going to have it.
Right.
So when I had to litigate against the Narragansett tribe up in Rhode Island, the best thing that Narragansett did was transfer their case to the District of Columbia.
I tried a federal racketeering case in Bridgeport, Connecticut. 5 defendants, at least 6 murders in the whole racketeering. We tried it in Bridgeport. Bridgeport was predominantly black city. It's the only time in the history of the federal court in Connecticut where the jury was deadlocked on all 5 defendants.
Wow.
In order to make sure they got a conviction, they rescheduled the trial and rescheduled it in New Haven.
In New Haven, I was going to say, which was where
They
you was going to
understood. They understood. We didn't understand. They understood that those black people were not going to allow those young black boys to get railroaded. Some of them were vicious, right? Some of these defendants were vicious, but the evidence wasn't there.
The evidence wasn't there.
The story was different in Bridgeport than it was in New Haven. And in New Haven, all they saw was a bunch of black faces.
That's
all right. And that's the difference, and that's the balance. And when you get in that jury room and somebody says to you, you know how they are, you know that person ain't voting on the facts. That person is voting on that person's skin color, that voting on some stereotype, etc. You know the code words, and we have to educate our kids from the bottom up. This is what they think about you. Stop telling our kids that you are equal. No, you are better than the perception that they have of you.
Oh, better than the perception.
Go out there and prove yourself each and every day that you are the best and be the best you can possibly be. Now, we got a whole generation of leadership that I think, this is leadership, that actually thought they made it. And therefore that their kids are making it. All right. And then, wow, boom, out of nowhere, they got a gut punch because somebody signed an executive order saying your job is gone tomorrow, baby.
Woo! Yes, sir.
Now they got a bunch.
And the misconception, but I want y'all to understand how they think, because they will vote against their own self-interest.
Yeah.
If they think that they're hurting us. And the misconception that the world has, or the misconception that most people have, is that those federal jobs that were gone, boom, that they hit us because they were looking in the District of Columbia and thought they saw all of us. Well, let me tell you something, baby.
Come on, tell it. Tell it, Mama. Tell it.
Let me break it down to the breakdown.
Tell it.
You ain't see us in Vermont. You don't see us in Maine. You don't even see us in Rhode Island. So you you don't see us in Idaho or Iowa or Oregon in a federal building. Who you see is them. So they voted against their own self-interest, and now they're saying, woe is me. How could this happen?
Yeah.
And that's why he fired the czar that was going to tell the job, because come October 1, this country is going to be in a recession it has never seen before, because those 400,000 federal workers that were out of a job, where 398,000 was white folk, they're going to be on the unemployment line.
Wow.
And it's going to show. So don't think that they won't vote against their own self-interest trying to keep us down.
Yeah. But what's so odd to me, that I've never experienced in my lifetime, and I'm only 60, I've never seen the degree of loyalists for somebody that is a felon, a pedophile, a liar, a cheat. I mean,
it's not loyalist, it's power. It's the whole concept of power.
Right.
It's a power. Right. They want to be, this is, and I know people hate to hear it, but it's the truth of the matter. This is a backlash.
Obama.
To the Obama presidency. Yeah. How dare them N-words think they could be the president of the free world?
Yes.
How dare them think they have risen from slavery to that? We're going to show them. This is nothing more than power steeped in racism.
That's it.
And the modern day Klansmen. That's exactly what we're dealing with now. The modern day Klansmen. And you slept on it because, as Muhammad said, we thought we had a ride.
We thought we had a ride.
Now listen, I'm just gonna, my humble opinion, I have a different take on that, Sharon. And I'll tell you what I think the take is. I do believe it's a backlash, but I don't think it's as an extreme backlash as people think. I think it is a continuum. I think we have a tendency to look at Obama and see how they responded to Obama like they didn't respond to Dr. King, like they didn't respond to the civil rights movement. The Heritage Foundation is founded in 1968. What happened in 1968? Dr. King was assassinated. COINTELPRO really kicks in its gears in 1955. What happened in 1954? Brown versus Board of Education.
Education.
You know, so, and all of these organizations, if you look at their history, etc., from the Klan to the from the Klan as far back as what's 1871 Civil Rights Movement. The 1871 Civil Rights Act is called the Ku Klux Klan Act.
Ha!
So always a no. We have to. These people are getting too much power. We have to stop them. We have to stop them. We have to stop them. Our bloody summers, are 1915 to 1923, are all considered to be backlashes. So what it tells me is that this is a concerted mentality that has been transferred on and on and on from generation after generation after generation. And just Obama just happened because he was able to do something that no other president was able to do. And that is to gain 90% both times of the black vote and 75 to 80% of the minority vote, and therefore change the dynamic of what it is to vote.
But it picked up traction. What I'm saying is, I understand the Heritage Foundation. I understand the bloody summers. But I'm saying it picked up traction as a backlash to Obama. I mean, we knew the Tea Party was there. The Tea Party was there under Clinton. But the Tea Party formed into MAGA under Obama because you got the extremists, the modern day Klan members that were behind the closed doors talking to the Heritage Foundation, saying, what can we do to put these Negroes in their place? So that's why I say it picked up traction, and it's a backlash.
Agreed.
And I still call it a major backlash. So talk about your book, Muhammad, because I'm going to get kid on it.
Yes, we have literally 4 minutes left.
No, I'm going to cut this into 2 shows. Don't worry about that.
Okay, I want you to talk about April 4th, but I want us to also, for those, so we spoke to those who may not make it to college. I want to speak to not only those that are in college, but those of us who are conscious and need and know the necessity to organize. So we must organize and we must be strategic right now. What must we do? Is there something we must do? We're talking to us, our peers. What must we do?
You remember the first thing you did? What was the first thing you did as a collective in Ubiquity? Any of you? Think about it. What was the first thing you did?
Together.
The first thing we did was we signed up for it. That's the first thing we did. We signed up.
After that.
I'm talking about now you signed up. You're in. You're Ubiquitarian. What's the first thing you did?
What's the first night?
Yeah,
Black Night. We elected our officers as abecedarians. We elected our officers as who was going to represent us as the abecedarians. That's the first thing we did in 1980.
First thing we did was the same thing, and we went and stood out in front of the tree, and we grabbed hands, and we introduced ourselves to ourselves. Yeah. I did not know Laurel Tuckett. I did not know Viv July. I did not know Pam. I did not know Bob Vance. I did not know that Ted Croxton. We introduced ourselves to ourselves.
Yes. Okay.
Show me right now. Ask any one of them in 78. I don't care who you pick. If they felt any stronger at any time in their life than that first circle that we got together on. And tell me now why we don't have as many circles going on right now in Southeast DC if we believe that our children are under attack.
Yep.
Do we really believe it? Do we really believe that our Black children are under attack? I came through the crack era trying cases. I know we didn't believe that our children was under attack. We didn't believe that there was mass incarceration because we didn't fight like hell to save our children. If your child is in the middle of this highway and a truck is coming on at them and you believe that truck is going to hit them, you're going to get your behind up. You're going to run out there in the street.
Run out there and grab your child.
You're either going to be a hero and snatch the car or you're going to snatch the kid. But that's what you do if you really believe. How many of us really believe that our kids are in danger right now? I got my son here right now, making sure he hears me because I want him to, and he's grown. And I babysit my grandkids to make sure that they know, so that they make sure they get the message. How many of us really believe that? That's what the whole idea of Ubiquity was. The brothers and sisters coming together, standing together, holding hands, talking about what? For the love of each other.
For the love of each
Tell
other.
me you love me if you're not willing to fight for me. I don't want to hear that bullshit.
Yeah, you're gonna stand 10 toes down with me.
Absolutely. Do you want to pass a kiss around? You want me to pass a kiss around? You want to pass a kiss around? Carry your happy behind out to Southeast right now, and make sure those kids are okay. Make sure those kids out there understand. I don't care if you got to write up a letter or something and pass the flyer out in Southeast. This is what they're trying to do to you. Don't fall for it. Whatever it takes.
Because the troops are not in Southeast DC. They're around all the federal centers. They are not in Southeast DC.
I saw them the other night. They were in Georgetown.
Exactly.
They're every freaking where. They're every freaking where.
But they're not in Southeast DC. Trust me, believe me. They're not over there in Congress Heights. They're not walking on Alabama Avenue, and they're not walking on Martin Luther King. They're nowhere over in Southeast DC.
That's right. Look, we got to understand that. If we are going to save a generation, we have to be in the game in order to save the generation. If you believe that all black kids exist at Howard University, then you need to be at Howard University. But if you believe that there really are some knuckleheads in the street who believe in the street life, and you believe they need to be saved, even if they can't be saved, if you, it's not about them, it's about you. What do you believe? Do you believe that they're worth fighting for? Then get your behind up like I had to do each and every day in court and represent the kid who was hustling. And represent the kid who killed his mom. And represent because I know where his mentality is. Funny story, short story. I lost a girlfriend at Howard because of that concept. When I first got to Howard, I thought I was in love. Oh, gosh. We had a discussion about whether or not 13 or 14-year-olds can form the mentality to commit a crime, especially something like murder. You now know, if you're from the black community, that none of these kids have the cognitive process that would allow them to be treated like an adult or even to act like an adult and to form the so-called intent to commit a murder. How do you know that? Because a white boy ran over 4 people when he was 17 years old, ran over 4 people and killed 4 of them in Texas, and he got off on something called affluenza. He was too affluent. His mentality said he could not wrap his head around that their lives had value. And the judge let him off. So if that works for them, and that's what they believe the mentality of educated white kids are, what do you think the mentality of uneducated black people should be?
Right. Wow.
Chew on that one for a second.
Yeah.
If you believe they have value, you're doing your part. Whatever your part is, if you believe that this generation has value, you do your part. And it's not just in the courtroom doing criminal law, advocating and trying to protect their rights. But, I come through a system that is different from Muhammad's in the practice of law, but I still advocated on the back end. Once they have those charges, once they sat there and got those charges on them, what can we do to move those charges off of them so they can have a productive life? Because and I do it to this day, matter of fact, I'm doing one when I get back, where not only do we expunge your record, after I get that record expunged, you got to fill out your voting application. You gonna vote.
That's right.
And I'm gonna tell you what polls you going to.
That's right.
And I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna be there. And I don't even pull punches when I talk to these young, because I'm only dealing honestly with a lot of young black men, and I don't pull any punches. I'm not trying to talk to you with kid gloves. I'm gonna break it down to you to the brake pad. You've had as many opportunities as you avail yourself to have, and I don't give a damn where you come from.
Okay. Well, I have a question.
I know she keeps saying, excuse me for interrupting, sis, but I know she keeps saying expungement of records. But you got to understand how important that is. Something that sounds so simple and how important it is.
Oh, no, I know.
They were literally giving out records, giving them out. I'm going to lock you up. They called it stop frisk. Remember it?
Yes.
They called it stop frisk. So they would just stop 800,000 black kids, give them a marijuana charge. 85%, according to Judge Shineland in the case in 2014, that 85% of those stopped had no contraband on them.
Oh my God!
You are more than likely to find a white kid with contraband on it than you would have a black kid, and 95% of the kids stopped were black. But all of them had criminal records because they would take that particular plea. And then what would that do? Boom, they go to court, they go for that job. Oh my God, a black kid with a criminal record. They don't even look to see if it's marijuana. They don't even look to see that it's carrying a screwdriver in my back pocket when I'm on my way to help my uncle fix his car. They don't care because you're black. They use it as an excuse. And until if you don't come up with that clean record, you got to find every way you can to fight for black kids. Don't tell me you're in it.
And you know what? When Muhammad said you have to meet them where they are, this next expungement I'm doing is a go-go festival. Meet them where they are. Muhammad, I mean, it's like Muhammad said exactly what I was thinking. We're doing an expungement clinic at a go-go festival, outdoors in a tent. That's why? Because we need to meet them where they are. They're not going to come to the building, but they're going to come to go-go.
Yeah.
And somebody going to send them in there, and I'm going to pull up their record, and I'm going to have it expunged because I'm filing everything electronically. So by that Monday morning, they before a judge, because it's just a paper process.
Wow.
Yep.
I want to get this in because there's such an inequity, there's such an imbalance with because of the racism that we're blatantly experiencing. And I had asked the question earlier to you all offline. How is it that a 34 convicted felon is able to vote, is able to run for president of the United States, is able to win? And then, because I've never seen anything like this before. And can you speak to that? I know, Sharon, you were talking about that earlier in Muhammad, the whole.
I'll let Muhammad go first.
Okay, as a technical matter of law, I won't get into the thing. A convicted felon does not bar you from running for office nationally. There's nothing
except if you're a black man.
There's nothing in the Constitution that bars you from there, unless, of course, it's treason. All right, treason, and of course, if you running for homicide, I think it was Depps in the early 1900s who was running for president in prison. All right. Frankly, if he had been out of prison, he might have won, but he was in prison and couldn't really, campaign and everything like that. And he may have been the best thing that could have happened to America, but which always leads me to believe that the Rockefeller Foundation and those racist pigs from that era did everything they could to make sure he didn't win. So he was in prison and running for president and got over a couple of million votes. So there's nothing constitutionally to prevent it. As it relates to him voting, the potential is, again, every state has its own voting laws. They get to decide what their laws are and who can vote, who is eligible, as long as it doesn't violate the United States Constitution. So Donald Trump was convicted in New York, but in New York, you're not precluded from voting. In Florida, you are, in fact, precluded from voting. I think the way it worked here was that he was convicted in New York as a resident of
Florida.
And convicted in New York or whatever. But whatever it was, it turned out that one of the states he was not barred from because of their reciprocity with the other state. So he was not barred from voting. So technically, there's nothing wrong with it. Emotionally and morally, frankly, only a white supremacist system will allow something like that. And only people who follow white supremacy or support white supremacy, again, because if he loses to a black woman. And I don't think we need to obfuscate that. We got to stop sidestepping, looking at him and looking at what's behind him. What's behind him is white supremacy and the power that white supremacy presents, and the opening of that door. If he doesn't win, that means Kamala Harris wins. That means you have elected a black woman to lead your country, and white America is not ready for that. I tell you, they vote at least 55% in every election for a white supremacist, regardless. So black people, Latinos, Asians always come out in the margins that put somebody who is going to be other than, or in my opinion, the opposite side of white supremacy, the more liberal side of white supremacy, over the conservative side of white supremacy. That's how you get that vote. You come up with that coalition, and that's how you get to be president of the United States. If you don't if you're not white and not espousing the same things. And always the conversation is, I know how to keep those Negroes in place. I know how to keep I'm not joking. Ronald Reagan did it, welfare queens. George Bush did it with Willie Horton. Bill Clinton did it, attack on Sister Soldier and Jesse Jackson.
Yes.
All right. Are we missing someone? Huh?
Yeah.
Right? That's all it takes sometimes. And that's all it takes for you, because they all feel like they have to appease white sensibilities because they're the so-called majority population in order for them to get elected. And agenda that to me speaks directly to white supremacy. White people will not come out and support an agenda that they believe will put black people ahead of them.
Right.
Do you remember the quote from the president? And right now I'm drawing a blank on whether it was Roosevelt or Eisenhower that said, you give the poorest, lowest white man.
It was Lyndon Johnson.
Lyndon B. Johnson. Okay, you give the poorest, lowest white man a Negro to look down on, and he will empty his
pockets.
Wow.
Absolutely.
He will vote against his own self-interest every time. In fact, he will empty his pockets and give you what's in his pockets. That's what you're dealing with now. That's exactly how a convicted felon could be sitting in the House. Besides the fact that we know they cheated, we know the algorithm. We know that South African owned a lot of the machines that was in the South, and we slept on it. But the bottom line is this: they vote against their own self-interest because they were not going to vote for a woman, nor a woman of color under any circumstances. If you want to believe the statistics and you look at how the Latinos voted, you look at how the white women voted, you look at how the white men voted, and you look at that other category, they overwhelmingly voted for a convicted felon. And Latinos heard that bastard say that he was going to ship them all to Mexico because in his mind they all come from Mexico.
Right.
He's ignorant. And so I'm like, how do you even cast a vote for that?
They didn't even give a fuck.
They showed ICE on national TV last week where they were arresting one of them chapos. I can't tell you which one it was.
Right.
Who had an I Love Trump shirt on.
Yeah.
They arrested him
right here, Callie.
You know what? You know what else we slept on, Sharon? Those fake out. Remember what was going on in Georgia, and they charged the lady with letting people into the building so they could get the machines, and they busted them while they were getting the machines out.
Right. Those
that's right. Then they had that fake audit that they put together. The Republican National Committee put together that fake audit. They weren't doing anything there. What they were doing was trying to determine how the machines work.
Exactly.
Which is why now you have Doge come in, and the first thing Doge does is shut down all these people who have the ability to go back behind the scenes and look at what was done with the algorithms.
What was done with the algorithms.
Take those machines, look at them, and see what the algorithms do. So that this is why your president, the president, said when he was running, hurry up and go out and vote for me because you won't have to vote ever again after this.
I heard that. People heard, yes.
That's why he knew that they had the system that would be able to flip, because this is why all these techie kids like that, by the way, that fake out kid who said, that 19-year-old Doge kid who said that he was carjacked in DC, and they arrested 2 kids in Prince George's County for carjacking him.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Now, I've done enough criminal work to know, as the expression goes, shit from Shinola when I see it.
Right.
Exactly.
I was like, and
I'm like, and if they didn't beat his ass, they should find him and beat his ass. But in any event, they didn't even do it. He wasn't even carjacked. He went out to buy some drugs somewhere. That's what that was.
Been there, done that. Been there, done that.
Wow.
And I can tell you, all you gotta do is look at his web page. What he did was he was out there on the street. He called one of them a nigger. One of them punched him in his mouth, and that was enough.
Yeah, because he went out there to buy some drugs, and he didn't like how the transaction went down.
Yeah.
Wow.
I already saw myself defending one of those.
Yeah.
It went over my head. That whole thing
It
went over my
I
head.
didn't even
Thank you for breaking that down for me. Wow.
Wow. Is I want us to I want to talk about April 4th real quick.
Your book. Yes, your book. Get your book.
Get your book. I have an autographed copy. I'm special. I have an autographed copy.
Yeah, you are, Sharon. You know you special. There ain't nowhere getting around you. I'm telling you. I don't care what nobody says. Can you see it? Can you?
No, we'll just. I'll put it in.
Oh,
I'll put it up. Yeah.
Okay.
There we go.
Now we can see it good.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is me. By the way, this is book number 3. All right. Book number 4 will be finished edits in September, and hopefully it'll be out. I'm trying to do Thanksgiving, but I think I might have to give myself a December birthday present because I am doing my best not to have to do the Amazon, white corporate America, give money to Bezos and all these crackers type of thing. If I could just find me a black publisher who's willing to publish fiction.
You move over to fiction.
I have one.
Yes, I'm doing a novel. I made myself just like my mom said. I told her I wanted to be a writer, and she gave me 2 books. You ready? She gave me 1001 Arabian Nights, and she gave me the Count of Monte Cristo. No. Yes, the Count of Monte Cristo, Alexander Dumas.
Yeah.
And I made myself a promise that I was going to do a book that the only way I would release it is if it, in my heart, gave me the same kind of thrill that 1001 Arabian Nights did and the Count of Monte Cristo. So I did a book that merges both of them.
Wow.
I think you're going to love it because it's like, can you imagine? It's about Black revolution.
Woo!
And the central character is a lawyer. Can you imagine that?
I love it.
It's been fun writing it. In fact, I put it down. I read the history of biography of Alexander Dumas, the author of Count of Monte Cristo. And they said it took him 10 years to write the Count of Monte Cristo. So I'm on year 8.5 right now. So I'm just trying to beat him if I can get to this.
I want more young Black people to want to be lawyers. That's what I want.
Me too. But the problem is, we got to understand what the system is and what it does. What's the important part of the system? All right. It's not just, look, I'm sorry. America is about capitalism. It's about the money.
Right.
And our kids come out and we see that money or we see that debt and we got to pay that debt back, etc. All right. Now, I was tricky. I didn't have debt when I came out of school. I can tell you why, but then, I have to kill you. All right.
Yeah.
I know why, Muhammad. I know why, right?
You know why.
I figured.
This is why I'm one of the favorite little sisters because I always keep my mouth shut.
All right. So, but that's the problem. Now, what does that do for Ubiquity? What does that do for us as a community? I've been pushing for the last 6 years since I've been back here for us to have a lawyers roundtable every year at Howard.
Okay.
Asking the leadership, can we just get all the lawyers together and we just have a roundtable right there on Howard's campus? You're not going to get better advice than from civil law than from Donald Temple. You're not going to get better advice from Sharon Vaughn. You're not going to get better advice on contracts and on prosecution than from Darrell L. Avery. You're not going to get better advice than from Tony B. Stewart. You're not going to get better advice at that because you talk about academics and real world experience and Howard committed. How are you going to do?
You got somebody like Tony that was a prosecutor that went on to civil litigation, admin that did environmental work with FERC. So
how are you going to do better than that? Who's going to do better than that? Who's willing to do better than that?
I'm writing it down. So Howard University Law Roundtable.
That'd be awesome.
I've been pushing for it for the longest.
Okay.
But also more lawyers coming out of HBCUs is important, and I don't know if that's happening.
You have quite a few that come out of these HBCUs, but I also think that one of the things that I would love to see with Ubiquity to hold, which is we have a lot of published authors in Ubiquity, and I would love to see a writer's workshop.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I mean, you know, you have young. You want to see how we reach back to some of these college students and some of the generations. Went to Donald's when they had the last trial period of ubiquitarians.
Yeah.
And it was all women.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was all women. And so I said, you know, did y'all send the men on the run? They picking up food.
Where the brothers at?
No,
right.
I did. I said the brothers went to pick up the food, or the brothers moving cars. You know, where the brothers, and they were like, and I was dead serious. I thought the brothers.
I'm stealing that. I'm sorry.
Right. I mean, I was dead serious, and they were looking at me like, "Is she trying to be funny?" And I wasn't trying to be funny.
No.
I need to know where the brothers at.
Where they at?
And they were like, "No, this trial period is all women." I said, "I got to go."
Okay. It's a problem here.
But then I got a stage left. I mean, how do we as Ubiquity don't understand the concept of brothers and sisters?
Right.
For the love of each other.
Yes, ma'am.
We as brothers and sisters.
That's the organization.
Mm-hmm. There's not that many brothers now. If you look at the makeup on college, it's like what, 80-20? I mean, I don't even know if it's 20. Yeah. So there's not that many brothers that are reaching the college level as it was before. It's rough.
And that's why we have to go further back, and that's why I say I keep going back to this expungement, but Muhammad understands the importance of cleaning their records so they can apply to college, so that they can go to. You got a lot of young people that want to go to college. I've talked to a lot of young people that say, I really want to go to college, but I can't get this scholarship or this because, you know, when I was 16 years old, I was picked up for X, Y, and Z. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, show me your record.
Mm-hmm. Show me your record. Yeah.
Show you, you know, just give me, and they only had to show it. Give me your information because I have the database. Give me your information. Let me pull you up. Yeah. Next thing you know, within 24 hours, I got that stuff gone. And now go ahead and apply.
Sharon, can you do this throughout the country, or it's just?
I do it throughout the country. Okay. I do it everywhere.
Okay, we got 10 minutes, and Muhammad, I want you to tell us about April 4th, please, because then I'm sure there'll be questions and comments, and we're going to discuss it.
April 4th is Lessons on Living and Dying, and one day I'm trying to put together a trilogy of books, starting with Raw Law. So that's it. Frankly, a tribute and a discussion with generations coming up into the system as to why you should stay out of it and what happens to you when you get into it. All right. And to help you navigate the rules. The next thing I wanted to do is do a tribute to what leadership really looks like. Mm-hmm. April 4th is a tribute to Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, and Adam Clayton Powell Jr. Right. Mm-hmm. I literally had people call me and say they never even knew never knew anything about Adam Clayton Powell Jr. until they read this particular book. But it's a tribute. But it also mentions people who helped me along the way with stories that merge in. April 4th, for those of you who want to look it up, just look up the particular date of April 4th, and you'll find some very unique confluences between the three men that happened on April 4th. All right. Mm. That's kind of like without giving the whole book away, that's kind of like the underlying premise of it, the confluence of April 4th and how these men, history kind of like links them all on April 4th. Interestingly. For those of you who know the first one, obviously, is that Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated on April 4th, 1968. Right. All right. So that helps you understand April 4th. So hopefully people who have read it have given it very good reviews, like it. Again, the only person who sells it is me. Again, I just can't wrap my head around anymore giving my money to white folks for free. And that
give us some lessons on living and dying. Tell us a few points about the book.
Well, before you do that, this is the only place where people can contact you to get the book it's
through my Raw Law Bookings at gmail.com. Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
Contact me there and get the books. The only place that I know of until I find a Black publisher who's willing to go out on the limb. And my hats off, my appreciation to Paul Coates from Black Press International. He was the one who originally produced the first line of copies, the one that I have right now. And when I sell out, then I'll have to find another Black publisher. But he did that as a favor. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, of course, he read it and he liked it. Lessons on living and dying. What is the one thing you learned about living, and what are the one thing you learn about dying, that one, if you're going to be Black in America, you have to recognize that, as Malcolm said, the price of freedom is death. You have to recognize, as King said, there are some difficult days ahead. I'm just trying to get to the promised land. I may not get there with you, but we as a people will get to the promised land. That's a recognition that he knows he's dying. He's going to die. But we all have to recognize that. The question isn't a question of death or life. The question is how you live your life knowing that you're going to die. I don't care if you live to be 80 years old, 100 years old, or you live to be 5 or 10 years old. The question is, what do you do in between that life? That lessons on living and the lessons on dying. How do you live, and then how do you die? And that's what the premise of it is.
Okay.
And who better, right, than Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, and Adam Clayton Powell to help you get that point if you're a Black American.
Okay.
And this should be mandatory reading for the next trial period.
Okay.
You know what?
And we should advocate for that as well. No.
You're hired. I'm sending you a contract right now.
And I want Muhammad, on all seriously, I'm going to order in a little while. I'll hit you offline, but I want 10 copies.
So give us your social media, Muhammad, and let us know the best places to find you.
The best place to find me is, that's my email, rawlawbookings@gmail.com. The best place to find me, though, is every Thursday night, 8 p.m. from 8 to 10 at hsrn.com. I do
hsrn.com.
Right, that's Heritage Sports Radio Network. It's Black owned. All right. .com. I do a show there called the Raw Law Project. All right. And we discuss the kind of issues that we're talking about here today.
Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
That's right. Thursdays from 8 to 10 Eastern Time. And it gets a little bit ruckus, but you know, I don't call these things raw for no reason.
All right.
And I guess kind of like the conversation we're having right now is hopefully you get an understanding that this is what you get, because I don't believe the people who are pundits, sometimes I'm critical. The people who are lawyers, who are online, etc., I think they're more academic than they are anything else. Are a little bit too academic, and therefore, in my humble opinion, they are more trying to get clicks than they are to educate our community. And I kind of like, at my age, got to the point where I resent that. On occasions, at least once a month, I do a Facebook post called Objection Irrelevant, where I grab an issue in the news that Black people are discussing on a level that I think is absolutely irrelevant, considering what the underlying real purpose of what was going on in the news is happening. So you can find me at Raw Law on Facebook, Objection Irrelevant, and let's see, I got a little daughter right now who's putting together a podcast, father and daughter kind of thing. She wants to. Her name is she is Imani, or Imani B, whatever I think she goes by, and hopefully that'll be up and running by September 1st, where the two of us get together and do a.
That's intergenerational. That's nice.
Did any of your children decide to pursue a career in law or the legal profession?
No, truthfully, I always tell them I want you to go to law school, but I really don't. I figured if I told them, I'd scare them out of it.
I think you've scared them, Daddy.
No. Honestly, I used to take them to court with me, all of them.
Yeah, I think you scared the crap out of them anyway.
There was not one of them who hasn't sat through a major trial. And I'm talking about major, talking about a murder or a rape or something like that. I had to have them see it done, see what the culture was like, so that there could be no doubt in their mind why I was in it. So anybody come to them and say, oh, your dad was a capitalist, your dad was selling the community out, your dad was this, that, and the third. These little colored people was right there in the front row, and they can tell you right now till this day the story as to why they were in court and what happened in the courtroom.
I love it. Sharon.
No. Except Naeem. Naeem is here.
Okay.
And Naeem, in the middle of an argument in a major armed robbery trial, was listening to my closing argument and was sitting on his front of the seat like this.
Yeah, Daddy.
And when the prosecutor's time for him to argument, you could hear Naeem snoring in the pews. and the jurors loved it. They were like, "Oh, you bored the kid to death," and you don't think I didn't ride that, right? You didn't think I was like, "Judge, can you like tell the prosecutor to speed up? My son is falling asleep, or can we take him somewhere?" Oh, I rode it like a horse. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
And when Naeem was,
where can we find?
Well, let me just tell you this real quick. When Naeem was 2 years old, Naeem is too young to remember this. Muhammad brought him to my office in the DOT headquarters building. We were in the NASDAQ building. And one of my coworkers at the time, colleagues who's deceased now, said to Naeem, hey, Naeem turned around at 2 years old and said, don't say that to me. I'm not a horse.
Oh, okay. All right. All right.
You remember that, Muhammad? He turned around. He said, don't say that to me. I'm not a horse. He said, hello.
Okay.
He went, hello. Don't hate me. Okay. And I was just like, this young man is going here at 2 years old. He turned around and said, don't say that to me. I'm not.
Oh my God.
Hello. And he was 2 and he was clear. And he was
clear. He was clear. Sharon, tell us where we can find you and your work regarding expungement. That is vital.
So expungements, you can find me by just emailing me, and you have my email address, which is, but I'm on Instagram, I'm at Philly Girl, at Tread, I'm at Philly Girl, and then Facebook is just my name on there. But email me and I can send out that information for the expungement clinics, because we hold them probably every 2 weeks here in the DMV and then around the country in the different places. I'm sorry.
Give me your email address. I can put it up.
Okay, it's Vaughn Fair at AOL.com. I'm dating myself.
Yes, you
are. As I told Muhammad, I don't fool with no Gmail.
You might need to. Okay. You might need to get you a Gmail account, Mama.
I have a Gmail account. I don't go into it, but maybe once every 2-3 months. This email account defaults all my email to this account. So all the different email accounts that I have, because I'm a college professor as well, it defaults down to this email.
She a PhD and an Esquire. She all that.
I can't tell you how much joy this has given me. And the fact that you, Muhammad, and Sharon are still deep brothers and sisters, family, and that you consult and confer with each other, and that you're involved with each other's lives, and that I love this. This is what it's about. This is why we're here, why we've done this podcast, to try and connect us back and put us on a road of recognizing the importance of ubiquity and why we do what we do, and why we're going to do more to save our children, because it's our family, and this family is so important.
Camille, I'm gonna stop you. Say that again, because I lost connection. So start that over again. I can't tell you how much.
Which part? I can't. I can't tell you how much how much joy this has brought me to see you two still together after all these years, brothers and sisters, because this is how Ubiquity started. This is what we do for the love of each other. So you all have brought me such joy in your professions. You've worked together, you've counseled together, you've cried together, and you've championed each other together. I love you, and I'm so glad that you're a part of, and we are a part of Ubiquity. Thank you for what you've done so that Ada and I were able to walk into the legacy that y'all left behind. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, but I want to say this before we get off. I've looked up to Muhammad since the day I met Muhammad at Ubiquity. Muhammad has always been that big brother, but he's always been that constant. Okay, Muhammad is somebody that really, I said, this is why I want to go to law school. This is why I want to be that lawyer. This is why I want my name to have something positive behind it when I close my eyes and go to glory. Muhammad has always been that inspiration for me. When I have something to joke about, and when I want to tell somebody something that might offend other people's sensitivities, I call Muhammad. So, Muhammad, I'm going to tell this story. I walk with the Girl Trekkers, which is another group of African-American women that has been around. We are 1 million strong throughout the U.S., and we are walking into health. That's all it's about, getting healthy, getting better. It's a nonprofit started by these 2 African-American women. It's an awesome organization, and it's all about our health. But I was out in the park where we walk, my group walk, and I ran into one of our Ubiquity brothers. And for some reason, I had a brain fog, and I could not remember his Islamic name. All I could remember is the name that we knew when we were in Ubiquity, right? So we see each other. We go off when we see each other because we hadn't seen each other in a while. We run to each other hugging, and you know, let me just say he's the imam. So his flock was like, who the heck is he hugging each other like that? And we're like, you know, we Ubiquity. So we hugging and we brother and sister. And then I whisper in his ear and say, I can't remember your Islamic name, so I can't call it out in front of your flock. But I'm gonna call you Slow, because if it was good enough for your mama, it ought to be good enough for you. He lost it. He went to his knees. Because if it was good enough for your mom, it ought to be good enough for me. He went to his knees laughing, right? We on each other. Literally, Slow and I are holding each other up because we have dissolved in laughter with tears rolling down our eyes. I had to call Muhammad. I'm driving home. I got to call Muhammad and tell Muhammad what just happened. Yeah. Muhammad is the only one who could get my sense of humor. Yeah. Muhammad laughed so hard, I felt like, okay, I didn't offend Jahari.
Oh, Jahari.
When you said Slow, I got it.
I said, I can't remember your Islamic name. All I can remember is Slow. Islam. And I said, if it was good enough for your mom, it ought to be good enough for me. And he fell to his knees laughing. I mean, he pulling me down with him. And this is what we talk about for the love of each other. We love each other so much that we weren't Slow. Jahari knew I wasn't being offensive.
Right.
I was being family. And that's what family does. And who did I think the only person that I needed to call was Muhammad? Because Muhammad would get it. He would get me. He would get what I was doing. Yeah. And that's what family is about. That's why we love each other. Yes. We were there when the kids, all of Muhammad kids know me. I know all of Muhammad kids. Yeah. It's about family. It's about brothers and sisters. And I cannot tell you how much love we have for each other. It is so strong. When Dave Moe passed away and we were trying to coordinate how to get up there, Muhammad said to me, "You're not driving by yourself. That's unacceptable." And I pulled the phone back and looked at the phone and was like, I'm not that 18-year-old kid on Howard Campus. Who is he talking to? But then I knew it was coming from love. Although Mark set me up, Muhammad. You know Mark set me up, right?
Right.
And he sent me the clip after he set me up. Okay. It was that kind of love. We were going to be looking out for each other. And that's what we do today. And to me, that's what Ubiquity is about. Yes. We are always going to do what we need to do for our brothers and sisters. We're going to love each other.
Amen.
Beyond description.
That's
why Ubiquity is so important to me.
There is nothing else to do but close on that.
I love you. We appreciate for the love of each other. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.